So before we begin telling you all about paper, we do want to take a quick minute to acknowledge some of the challenges that you as a parent might be facing when it comes to providing educational support to your student. That might look in different ways. Maybe your student needs extra support on homework assignments that are in more advanced topics, maybe in things that you just haven't seen in a while. Maybe your students need help with getting ready for exams, getting ready for those midterms, tests, and quizzes, and you want to try to find the best way to help them prepare. And with distance learning, we know that parents, students, teachers, we've all been put to the test to learn new technologies and adapt to new environments. However, here at Paper, it is our hope to provide you with a resource that you can rely on whenever you need that extra academic support for your student. So a little bit about our mission. Our mission here is to deliver educational equity through personalized learning. Our founder was actually a former tutor and teacher, and quickly realized that those students that had access to resources like one-on-one support or tutoring were quickly getting ahead academically, while those students that didn't have access to these were staying behind. So from there, he set out to create a tool that provides a level playing field for all students. Now, how do we do that? Well, what Paper is now is an educational support system that's dedicated to supporting students, parents, and teachers. This service is free for all students. So if you're here, you probably heard about it from your school or district administrators, or you probably saw a Facebook or an Instagram ad. So if you saw that, then that means that your student or the district of your student is providing this resource to them. It's absolutely free for students and parents, so you don't have to worry about cost. And students can benefit by getting assistance and tutoring that's accessible 24/7, and it is unlimited. So if your student has any last minute questions, maybe on the day before an assignment is due, they're trying to get help, maybe teachers are not accessible, they can always log in, maybe even during the weekends or the holidays. Students also have access to essay review. This is where they can upload any type of writing assignments. And it doesn't just have to be essays. It could also be short paragraphs. It could be reports. And for the older students, they can also upload college personal statements and job and scholarship publications so that they can receive feedback in terms of their writing, anything from grammar, content, and structure. That way they can make those revisions before they submit their work. Now we're providing all of this information about how your students can benefit from the tutors, but who are the tutors that are there to help your students? Well, all of them are professional educators and they're all Paper employees. This means that there's no freelancers or outside contractors. They also all have clear background checks to ensure that your students are working with someone trustworthy here in the platform. And most of all, they're all trained to guide your students, but without giving them the answers. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good learning experience for your student. What tutors are trained on is the Socratic method. That's when they will ask questions to the students that guide them to the right answer. And this allows students to really think critically about the questions that they're asking, the steps that they're taking to solve the problems. And it really just helps solidify the concepts so that they can apply them independently, whether it is in their homework assignments or maybe even during their exams. Now for student privacy is very important for us here at Paper. So for this reason, sessions only show the student's first name, last initial, and their grade level. Students also work with a new tutor every session. However, because they've all been trained here at Paper, it doesn't matter who your student's working with, they'll receive the same level of support every time. And they also only work through chat. This means that there's no exchanges through video or audio, again, to preserve your students' privacy. However, we do have different tools to help them ask their questions. And we will cover those when we go on to the demonstration. But those include tools like picture upload and also a virtual whiteboard that they can use to show visual representations of what they need help with. Now, how will your student access Paper? This might look differently depending on the way that their school district has been rostered here with Paper. So if your student has access to a school portal, such as ClassLink or Clever, they'll be able to find the paper app already installed in their portal. So they can just enter their portal like they normally do, click on the paper app, and they'll be able to access the tutors here. If your student doesn't have access to a school portal, they can go to the website, which we have added here on the slide. We have a very easy login process for students. So all they're ever gonna need to use is their student credentials. That usually means their Google accounts. So the Google account that has been set up for them by the school. That means that there's no need to create any new passwords or usernames because that's already been provided to them by the school. And that's what they use to log into their account. So this will be a very easy login process. Just like we mentioned, students here only have to type the name of their school. So here, just as an example, we can see that we only need our Google account. We're going to click on the arrow. Students here can select their school Google accounts, and that's going to take them directly to their student dashboard. Mine looks a little different, so we'll make the switch to the student version. So this is what your student will see as soon as they enter their account. There's a couple of things that we like to point out when we're giving these demonstrations. The first one is at the right hand corner on the top, we do have the option for students to select their language of preference. Here at Paper, we do have tutors that speak English, French, Mandarin, and Spanish. So if your student feels more comfortable speaking one of those languages, they can always make their selection and they'll be able to connect with a tutor that speaks the language they've selected and receive help in any subject. Now we also have a quick introduction video that just helps students remind students of the different ways they can use paper and all the features that we have available. Now, I've already logged in before, so you can't see those, but when students first log in, they also see different pop-up messages that will help guide them through the platform and explain how they can use all of the different tools. Now, down here is the student's personalized dashboard. What does personalized mean? That means that students will see the classes that they're currently taking right now at school. That way, they have an easier way to ask the questions that they have about the specific subjects. So for example, if your student, instead of Math 1, they're taking algebra or calculus, that's the name of the class they'll see listed here, as well as the name of their teacher. And here students can just click on the Ask a Tutor button, and that's going to take them directly through to a chat. Now, a different way to ask their questions is through the chat box here. So let's say they have a question about a subject they don't see listed here on their dashboard. They can just type their question or upload a file here in the chat box, and the system will do its best to match them with the most appropriate tutor to answer that question. Now we're going to connect with a math tutor. Math is actually one of the subjects that we get the most questions about, so you can get to see what that interaction looks like. So here we have started a chat with a tutor. And just like we mentioned before, we do have different tools to help students ask their questions. We know that sometimes they might have some difficulty knowing how to phrase them or how to put them into words. So we do have those tools that can help. So for starters, if they are ready and just want to type, they can do so. So here I'm just going to let our tutor know that we need help with our homework. And students are more than welcome to use emojis. That actually facilitates and just kind of eases them into the conversation with the tutors. Now, just like we mentioned, a different tool that they can use is picture upload. They can access it by clicking here on send file. So let's say they have a screenshot or picture of an assignment. Maybe they have a PDF that has the problem that they're working on. They can select it and upload it so the tutor can see what they need help with. A different tool that we have is the virtual whiteboard. They can access it by clicking here on draw. So this is going to be super useful to show any visual representations of what they need help with. Super helpful for those type of questions where students have to work maybe on a step-by-step basis. Super helpful for math and science. So here students can type they can select different colors. Maybe if they want to highlight something, a step in specific that they're stuck on, they can select a different color. They can erase and also upload pictures through here and take notes on those. When they're ready, they can send it to the tutor and they'll have access to all of the drawings and all of the pictures that students are sending. Now, if you notice, as soon as we enter the chat, it didn't take very long for our tutor to greet us into the platform and ask us what we need help with. So students don't have to worry about waiting long periods of time to receive help because the tutors are here 24/7. And just like we mentioned before, we let the tutor know what we need help with, and they're trained to not give us the answers right away. Instead, they're going to guide us through it. So they can ask any questions from what do you think the first step should be? Here, the tutor's asking us, what can you tell me about the problem? Do you understand what we need to do? So it's really to allow the student to have the chance to think about the steps that they're going to take to solve the problems. Now, let's say your student is working on an assignment that looks a little similar to something that they worked on with a tutor, or maybe they forgot the explanation, or maybe they are trying to prepare for an exam. They'll always have access to their previous conversations by clicking here on history at the left-hand side of their student dashboard. That's going to become very, very helpful because again, if they just forgot an explanation or if they're trying to get ready for a final and they want to look over an explanation that they received all the way at the beginning of the semester, they can go all the way back in their conversations and use it as an extra set of notes to help them prepare. Now, again, for essay review, that's where students can upload their writing assignments. So they can upload their work either by clicking here on essay review in the top menu, or they also have the option to upload their essay clicking on this blue button at the right-hand side of their student dashboard. We have a pretty simple upload process. We do ask students to upload their work as a doc, PDF, or text file. If their work is, let's say, on a Google Doc, we do have instructions on how they can convert their work into one of the formats that we mentioned. When students are ready, they can just select their work. And here is where we highly encourage students to provide us with as much information as possible about their assignment. So they can tell us the title of their work, the language they wrote it in, the course it's for. Super important, those teacher's instructions. They can type those or they can upload any prompts or rubrics. And here they can provide us additional comments. For example, if they know that maybe citations, references, or grammar is something that they struggle with, they can let the tutor know so that they can pay extra attention to those details and also provide feedback that's specific to what the teacher is looking for when grading those assignments. When students are ready, they can submit their work and they'll receive a notification within their dashboard whenever their essay has been reviewed. Now, here, just to show you, what students are going to receive as soon as their essay has been reviewed is a document which they can download. This is going to have all of the comments from the tutors in terms of what they can improve on. So I'm going to zoom in so we can see those comments better. Here we can see those highlighted areas. We'll just click on the boxes next to them so we can see the comments. Now, tutors will not only provide feedback in terms of what the student can improve on, but they'll also let them know what they're already doing well in. That way, students have more of a well-rounded feedback when they're getting their reviews, and they can go back and make revisions based on these comments before they turn it in to their teachers. Now, last thing here for a demonstration, if there's any questions from students about how to use paper, we do have this blue help button at the right-hand side of their dashboard where they can tell us what they need help with. Let's say essay review is something that they need a little more assistance with. They can type it in the box and they'll receive step-by-step guides on how to use the different tools. Or they can also leave us a message and one of our team members will get back to them. We do want to remind you that for students, they'll have unlimited access to this resource, so they can work at their own pace. We often see different sessions in the platform where a student just needs a quick 5 minutes to get their concepts and their questions answered. Others might need 2 or 3 hours to work through a problem set. So it doesn't matter how much time students need. Access to the tutors is unlimited. So they can take as long as they need to, and the tutors will be there to help them every step of the way. A reminder that they can get help in any type of assignments that they have. So whether it is a math problem or whether it is an essay that needs to be reviewed, they'll have access to that support through the platform. A reminder also that we do provide assistance in a variety of content areas with over 200 subjects covered by our tutors, ranging from elementary school all the way to college level. So if your students are taking those advanced courses, maybe AP classes, they'll also be able to get that support. And we do provide insight to teachers and to students' understanding. We do that by providing them with all of the transcripts of the conversations between tutors and students. So this really helps both teachers and students because that way teachers can see the questions that are being asked and they're able to reinforce these topics during class time. So for parents, again, we hope that this can be a resource that you can rely on whenever your student needs support. So we want to remind you that your students are going to be working with experts that are trustworthy and that can help with any challenging content. And that we do have tutors that speak different languages, including English, French, and Mandarin. So here we often get questions from parents asking us, how can I support my student when they're first using paper? And this is when we highly encourage you to log into a session with your student, especially during those initial interactions with the tutors. That way you can help them lead conversations, maybe upload any assignments, maybe converting their work into a PDF, doc, or text file. This way it allows the students to really build trust with the tutors and understand that it is okay to reach out for help. It's okay to ask their questions and that they know, so they know that they have a tool that they can use whenever they need it. Lastly here, if you have any questions, feedback, if you have comments, or if you need support after this presentation, we do have this email that you can use to get in contact with us. It's parents@paper.co, not com, that's a little bit different, so CO, and we're always happy to hear from the parent community, and we can definitely help you through there.